Alright, so me and Mamadu are coming into Mindelo Bay. Mamadu's behind the helm. We got a great sail. We're a good team and coming in style. Did 15 and 20 knots of wind, typical from Mindelo.
That was about 21 hours ago. We had a flawless passage, but it did not start out that way.
I royally f***ed up. Well, not that bad, but I forgot my exit papers and my boat documents at the police. I didn't go get them last night or yesterday before leaving this morning, so I decided to turn around and go back before we got too far, so that kind of sucks. So we're gonna lose quite a few hours on this trip. Oh well, so be it. You live and learn. Don't forget your things. Don't go hang out and party the day before. And forget your responsibilities. So, there we go. Back to Voyage.
Mamadu knows these waters well from many years of fishing here. He suggested we enter the fishing port, which would save us some time. I gave him command of Galopin and managed the anchor. It was a lot faster.
Well, just left the police. They were extremely accommodating. Nobody was there. It was lunchtime. And this cool young fella came home from making lunch, he told me, out of uniform, just to sign me out and give me my documents. So I'm glad I did that and didn't just keep going on and, you know, just got to face up with the stupidity, and now everything's cool. We just got to get back in the boat with Mamadu and we're off.
Just in front of the port was Maria, who has a gift shop down the street. I wanted to get a souvenir from her earlier, but she was not at her shop. And there she was, with a basket full.
This is Maria. She makes these beautiful little souvenirs here in Boa Vista. So if you come here, you must come and see Maria and get a beautiful souvenir. I'm getting one from my little granddaughter, Ellie. This, which she made with her hands. Look, there's a little baby. So she's really cool.
Yeah.
And look at the smile. Look how beautiful she is. Okay, here we go. Leaving Salre, Boa Vista for the second time. Successfully got the papers from the police. Also got a bottle of soda and a cute little gift for my granddaughter from this beautiful woman called Maria. And so in the end everything worked out okay. We'll just get there a little later. So here we go. Off to Mindelo.
At about 4 in the afternoon, we were well underway. Wind conditions were great, and Mamadu got on his fishing skills. He'd caught a small bonita tuna. He immediately cleaned it and prepared it to go into the refrigerator. The wind picked up, and we were making good speed. We got ready to settle in for the night. It gets chilly, so we got our gear on. Mamadu asked how I wanted to do shifts. I suggested we switch every 2 hours, and it was settled. The rest of the night, conditions continued to be good, with a light drop in wind speed, which is common here in Cape Verde. Mamadu and I respected our shifts with Swiss punctuality, and in the morning, we were about halfway to Mindelo.
Hey yo, y'all remember this? Men in Love coming at ya.
The night was uneventful, apart from this guy who landed onto the wrong airstrip. I closed the bimini during the night to keep the cockpit dry from the dew, and during the day I like to keep it open and tied away, so I can see the sails to adjust trim along the way. Mamadu was up for a shift, and I went down for a last couple hours of sleep. About midday, conditions kicked into Cape Verde mode. 15 knots true wind and up, perfect bearing to get around the north point of São Vicente Island. We were making great time. Galopin hit a stride. I've learned so much these past months in Cape Verde about the islands, the country, the language, music and culture, the extraordinary people, and most importantly, how to sail here. My winded voyage is about sailing around the world, and I've been going very slow, but I have a sound sailor's reason for that. That is to learn and to be best prepared. I know so much more about the wind and currents, how to read and interpret the forecast, how to anticipate the Venturi effects between the islands, and how to manage Galopin in Cape Verde. This is serious sailing territory, open ocean sailing in the North Atlantic. It's boosted my confidence while remaining humble towards the sea. I learned not to panic and just manage. It's best said with Cape Verde's motto and slogan, no stress, which I proudly wear on this bracelet Maria gave me. Mamadu was down for his last nap. We had a few more hours to go. It turns out my mistake worked out for the best. At this pace, we should arrive at about 4 in the afternoon, rather than just before dawn.
Mundo cresce tragando de flor, está gentil. Deixa mundo fala, mundo tem que cala. Minha sentimento pra boa é imparável, modo bala. Nosso coração é forte, que tem nada que tá stala. Mas fala pra Mônica, gosta de mim. Fala, coisa que fazer. Que ele desgosta de mim. Ele ganha tudo. Ele ganha tudo. Para bem,
Alright, so me and Mamadu are coming into Mindelo Bay. Mamadu's behind the helm. We had a great sail. We're a good team. We had 2-hour shifts, it was awesome. And coming in style, about like 15 and 20 knots of wind, typical for Mindelo. And we just furled up the Genoa. Now we're coming in gentle with just the mainsail, because you have to jibe coming around here, and sometimes there's some gusts that come down from the mountains. But now I'm experienced, I've been here. So to avoid laying down the boat or any unnecessary damage to the sails, we just got the mainsail up, and as soon as we're in there, we're going to turn on the engine and lower it. But that's how it is here, man. It's beautiful though. Every time I come here, I'm like, woohoo!
We're almost home free, the last stretch before the finish line. But this is no time and place to celebrate and let your guard down. There is almost always a loose wind gust that comes down the mountains, which will surprise you. Coming into Mindelo Bay, like so many sailors have for centuries before, is very special. It's legendary.
On va se marier là demain.
Pas envie de marier. Ouais.
Ah, merci de m'avoir amené mon vieux cochon.
We'd sail about 130 nautical miles in 23 hours. And now, even in the relative security of Porto Grande, one must always be alert.
Last night we avoided a near tragedy as far as boats go. I was hanging out with the Canadians at the marina, and then we got a phone call from Mamadu, and he said, you got to get on your boat right away, there's a problem. And from the Canadian guys' boat, I could see 2 masts rather than one, meaning there was a boat right next to Galopin. I was like, holy shit. So, and Dave, one of the Canadians, the skipper, and I got into the dinghy and came over here, and what we saw was that this small wooden boat called Ghost in front of us was just right side by side with Galopin, and just like we had no idea what was going on. What happened is that his bow line that was tied to a mooring ball had broken, and he was just holding on by his stern line, and he was lined up right next to the boat. So the first thing we did was put on some fenders to protect the 2 boats, and then I hopped up on the wooden boat to see what was going on and pulled out the line, and it was just broken, and so we didn't quite know what to do.